Imagine waking up one morning and discovering that humanity is no longer alone. Not because aliens landed, not because giant ships appeared over cities, but because governments around the world suddenly stopped denying something they had secretly known for decades. We were never waiting for first contact. First contact already happened, and humanity chose silence. For years, scientists searched the skies believing we were listening into an empty universe. Massive radio telescopes scanned distant stars. Space agencies launched probes into deep space. The public was told humanity was searching for signs of intelligent life. But what if the search was never really a search? What if it was surveillance? What if Earth already detected something long ago? Something approaching slowly through the darkness between stars? And what if every major world power knew they were coming? Not yesterday, not recently, but generations ago. Chapter 1. The Signal No One Was Supposed to Hear. The story begins in the late 1960s. During the Cold War, the world was obsessed with secrecy. The United States and Soviet Union were monitoring the planet constantly. Satellites, radar systems, nuclear detection arrays, deep space communication stations. Officially, these systems existed to detect missile launches and enemy transmissions. Unofficially, some operators began reporting strange anomalies. At first, they looked like random bursts of radio noise, short pulses appearing from deep space at mathematically perfect intervals. Not natural, not chaotic, structured. Engineers dismissed them as interference. Until one transmission repeated. Exactly. Every 173 days. The pattern was impossible according to normal astrophysics. Pulsars didn't behave like this. Quasars didn't behave like this. Natural cosmic radiation didn't encode repeating prime number sequences. Someone, or something, was transmitting intentionally. A classified international project was quietly assembled. The brightest cryptographers, linguists, astronomers, and military analysts were brought together under extreme secrecy. Their task was simple: figure out whether the signal was artificial. It took them nearly 6 years, and when they finally decoded the structure hidden inside the transmission, the room reportedly went silent, because the signal wasn't a greeting. It was a countdown. Chapter 2. They weren't talking to us. The first terrifying realization came from the mathematical structure itself. The transmission did not behave like a civilization trying to introduce itself. There was no attempt to teach language, no cultural information, no symbolic imagery. Instead, the message resembled navigation synchronization data, like a beacon or a waypoint marker. Imagine overhearing military aircraft communicating coordinates with each other. The conversation isn't meant for you. You only understand fragments because you accidentally intercepted it. That's what frightened analysts. The signal implied something horrifying. Humanity may not have been the intended recipient at all. Earth was simply located along the route. Then came the second discovery. The source of the signal was moving. At first, astronomers thought measurement errors caused the positional drift. But over decades, the source shifted consistently against background stars. It wasn't stationary. It was traveling toward us. Slowly, very slowly, but unmistakably. By the early 1990s, advanced models estimated the object would arrive sometime in the 21st century. That estimate triggered global panic behind closed doors. Because the object wasn't asteroid-sized, it was enormous, possibly artificial, and moving with impossible energy efficiency. No visible propulsion, no detectable exhaust, just silent movement through interstellar space, like something ancient crossing an ocean. Chapter 3. Why the public never found out. People often ask, if governments knew aliens were coming, why keep it secret? Because civilization itself might not survive the truth. Think about what would happen if every nation publicly admitted that a non-human intelligence was approaching Earth and humanity had absolutely no way to stop it. Financial systems would collapse, religions would fracture overnight, governments would lose authority, markets would crash, mass panic would spread globally within hours. And perhaps most terrifying of all, humanity would realize it was no longer the dominant intelligence on Earth's future timeline. So the decision was made: silence. The information would be compartmentalized under the highest security clearances imaginable. Even presidents and prime ministers allegedly only received fragments. Instead of telling the public, governments focused on preparation. Not military preparation, psychological preparation. Over decades, media slowly normalized the concept of extraterrestrial life. Movies, TV shows, conspiracy theories, leaked UFO footage, soft disclosure. The goal wasn't to reveal the truth. The goal was to reduce future shock, to slowly acclimate humanity to the impossible. And meanwhile, beneath mountains, deserts, oceans, and restricted facilities, something else was happening. Human civilization was building systems no one could fully explain publicly. Massive underground data vaults, autonomous AI research, quantum communication networks, orbital defense platforms disguised as satellites. Not to fight the visitors, but to survive contact with them. Chapter 4: The Arrival. The object entered our solar system quietly. No explosions, no invasion fleet descending dramatically from the sky. In fact, most civilians never noticed anything unusual. The first confirmed detection reportedly came from deep space observatories, monitoring gravitational distortions near the outer planets. Something massive had crossed beyond Pluto, and it slowed down. That terrified scientists more than anything else, because slowing down meant intent. It meant control. Natural objects don't decelerate strategically after traveling between stars. Governments immediately activated emergency protocols, developed secretly over decades. Military forces worldwide entered high alert. Communication blackouts increased. Certain satellites disappeared from public tracking databases overnight. Then astronomers got their first visual confirmation. The object was not a ship in the way humans imagine ships. It resembled a geometric structure kilometers wide. Smooth, dark, almost featureless. No windows, no visible weapons, no lights. It absorbed light strangely, as if the surface itself distorted observation, and it parked itself near Jupiter, not Earth, Jupiter, as if studying the system first, watching, waiting. Humanity held its breath. Days passed, then weeks. No attack came, no message arrived, no response to radio transmissions, nothing. Until a single event changed everything. Chapter 5: The Transmission. Every communication network on Earth activated simultaneously. Phones, televisions, military channels, satellites, even disconnected systems reportedly powered on by themselves. A signal was broadcasting globally. Not in English, not in any human language, but directly into human cognition. People described it differently depending on culture and psychology. Some heard music, some heard voices. Some experienced memories that weren't theirs. Others collapsed unconscious instantly. But researchers studying brain activity discovered something chilling. Every human brain interpreted the signal uniquely, yet the underlying mathematical pattern was identical. It wasn't communication through language. It was communication through consciousness itself. Humanity had no framework for it. Religious leaders declared miracles. Scientists panicked. Governments lost control of information instantly. Then came the message. Humanity finally translated days later. Just one sentence. You were expected sooner. That line shattered civilization, because it implied something impossible. The visitors weren't surprised humanity existed. They were disappointed, as though Earth had failed some kind of timeline, as though we were late. Chapter 6. The Terrifying Theory. Soon a theory emerged inside intelligence communities, and it may explain why first contact truly failed. The visitors may not see humanity as a new civilization. They may see us as descendants. Not biological descendants, technological descendants. Imagine this. Millions of years ago, ancient interstellar civilizations seeded primitive worlds with genetic blueprints and evolutionary triggers. Not to create slaves, not to conquer planets, but to manufacture future intelligence. Human civilization may simply be one node in a galactic succession system, a civilization nursery. That would explain the signal, the countdown, the disappointment. Earth wasn't being discovered. Earth was being checked on, and according to whatever schedule governed this cosmic process, humanity was behind, far behind. Still divided by war, still destroying ecosystems, still trapped in primitive tribal politics, still incapable of unified planetary governance. To the visitors, humans may appear emotionally unstable, technologically dangerous, and evolutionarily incomplete, like children left unattended too long. Chapter 7. Why Contact Collapsed. Then came the moment historians would later call the silence event. After the global transmission, humanity attempted direct response. Every major nation collaborated for the first time in history. Scientists created mathematical messages, AI-generated linguistic models, symbolic representations of physics, art, music, DNA structures. Humanity screamed into the void trying to answer. No reply came. Then the object near Jupiter moved, not toward Earth, away, slowly, deliberately, as if making a decision. That was when intelligence analysts reached the most devastating conclusion of all. First contact failed because humanity failed the evaluation. Not militarily, morally, psychologically, civilizationally. The visitors had likely been monitoring Earth for centuries, maybe longer. Every war, every genocide, every ecological collapse, every nuclear threat, every act of cruelty may have been observed. And when the time finally came to formally establish contact, they chose not to. Imagine realizing humanity was not rejected because we were weak, but because we were not ready. Chapter 8. The Aftermath. The departure changed Earth forever. Religions transformed. Some collapsed completely. Others adapted rapidly, claiming the visitors were angels, demons, creators, or cosmic guardians. Governments lost public trust permanently after evidence emerged proving decades of secrecy. Entire economies reorganized around survival, science, and planetary unity. For the first time in history, humanity stopped asking, "Are we alone?" Instead, humanity began asking something much darker. What did they see in us that made them leave? Birth rates declined worldwide. Military recruitment dropped. Philosophy, psychology, and astronomy became humanity's most important fields overnight. People no longer viewed Earth as the center of existence. We became aware of ourselves from an outside perspective, like realizing your entire civilization had been observed the way humans observe animals in a zoo. And somewhere in deep space, the signal still continued, repeating every 173 days. But now astronomers discovered something new hidden inside it. A second pattern, another object, another trajectory, another arrival. The most frightening possibility. Maybe the scariest part of first contact is not invasion, not destruction, not alien weapons. Maybe the scariest possibility is this. A civilization advanced enough to cross interstellar space may have no interest in conquering humanity at all, because to them, humanity may not yet qualify as a civilization worth joining. And if Earth already knew they were coming, then perhaps the real purpose of secrecy was never to hide aliens from the public. Perhaps it was to hide humanity's true condition from itself. Because once humanity understands, it is being evaluated by something older, smarter, and infinitely more advanced. Every war suddenly looks childish. Every border becomes meaningless. Every human conflict feels small. And for the first time in history, humanity begins wondering whether the universe has already judged us, and whether we failed. If a signal arrived tomorrow proving something intelligent was approaching Earth, would humanity unite? Or would we collapse under fear, politics, greed, and division before they even arrived? Because maybe first contact is not about meeting aliens. Maybe it's a test to determine whether a species is capable of surviving its own intelligence.